I would take some time today to write down any questions you might have, and then just try and save them to the end. We'll do a Q&A, but definitely grab some pen and paper. Today's a note-taking day, and even the best take notes. Even the best speakers use prompts, and they practice their speech. And so there's a lot of value to learning this, but don't get so caught up in the technology. You guys will have your own freedom portal, so you can go in all the way till 5 a.m., 10 a.m., and 24/7. You can go in and start playing with the technology. So don't like try to write steps on, okay, well, then Danny did this. Then yeah, step 2 was this. Just kind of like be a student and just watch and soak it in. And then if you have some psychology questions or how would you handle this questions, then just allow it to come to you. But for your first 5 or 10 deals, I would definitely recommend just like literally having a mentor like myself or Jordan, just like help you walk through the deal or help you with the technology side. And you just like some of like the best nomad students, like they walk in and they're sitting with the homeowner and they say, hey, I'm still in training, I'm gonna get my boss or my manager on, and then they send me a Zoom link, and then I do the whole presentation. And I'm not a cheesy, even if it's your friend or your brother, or your sister, your uncle, or a friend or a stranger, I know how to handle all conversations, and so does Jordan. And so there's a lot of value in like not trying to fumble the bag or like saying, oh, like acting like you know everything. It's okay to pass the torch. But the technology is it's something that you can, we have plenty of instructional videos with the technology, but there's just an overwhelming amount of peace that you can get from actually getting paid and actually doing this correctly so that you're not fighting an uphill battle. But anyways, with that being said, we're going to do a little bit of a dive today into the Freedom Portal, and actually show you just some fire nuggets, some things that will make a lot of things very simple for you, and will answer a lot of your questions. I'm sure we'll give you a little bit more insight as to how this works and how this all plays in together. So with that being said, we will get straight into the meat and potatoes today. So this is your Freedom Portal. Remember, you have to finish your Ed app training, which is like some Freedom Forever training. Try not to race through it because there's actual value that you can get. And I would just definitely take time to slow down and like try to understand it, ask questions if you do. And so once you get your Freedom Portal, you'll log in, and this is like literally owning your own business. This is like, you don't need, once you have this, like you don't need anyone else. You don't need a guy. You don't need a girl. You don't need a flyer. I mean, you can use tools to make life easier, but like this is your storefront. This is your, like, this is how you can literally make 500,000 to $1 million this year, or you could make $10,000 this year, or you could make $0. And so, but this is everything. This is literally everything you'll ever need. And I will go over this today with y'all. So on this left-hand side, you're going to have a leads column. This is for literally anybody that you bump into that you want to consider maybe helping go solar. This is where you literally, when you click this, you come to this page, and let's say you meet a homeowner at a door and you want to schedule an appointment with them, and you're on your iPad or you're on your phone or whatever, click add lead, and then it'll ask you to put in a name. So we're going to do Frank Thomas, and we're just going to make up an address. And look, we're at a church. We're going to drag this over and actually do a house. So let's pretend Frank Thomas lives right here. So we're going to create lead. And so boom, now we've created a lead. This is a view of his house. And with one click, we can create a Sunrun proposal. So I know that I showed y'all this page right here in the Sunrun portal. It goes to the same area, but there's something called API integration, which just basically, I don't know what it stands for, but it basically makes it work on Sunrun. And so this is a link to bypass having to go to a separate site. I go to the separate site, doesn't matter. But for a purchase side, when you see the word Aurora, Aurora is a design tool. It's a piece of software that does solar quotes. Aurora is a design software. So if you want to add in, any details, you can click right here and choose a name. You can find someone to click. Let's say we chose Vince, sales rep. Is this an in-home appointment or a phone consultation? They want to be contacted on the phone. What date are we going to choose? Well, the homeowner told me Monday at 4:30 or 5:30 p.m. And then homeowner was super nice. Husband was sick. Dog's name was Benny. They've looked into solar before. Average bill was like 400 in the summer. These are good notes to have. And it's just whatever you can do, because now let's say you assign this to one of our leaders, Vince, then what this will happen is now when Vince shows up to the house, before he even walks into the house, he can see that they're nice people. The husband was sick. The dog's name was Benny, and they've looked into solar before, and their average was like 400. And so now he's got some background information. You can also, if you can, insert the usage, but you don't have to at this point. So Aurora, like I said, is a tool. So we're going to click New Aurora Proposal. It's going to ask you for their phone number, which you should always have for every lead, and then the email address. And then, again, make sure this pin is on the right house. And then perfect. And so now we are going into the Aurora software. And so it still connects with the Freedom Portal, but this is like doing a very detailed solar quote. If I was meeting with someone online, I could use this. Or if I was meeting with someone in person, I could do this and just let them look at my computer screen. So first, we're building our proposal. So it already automatically plugs in their name, their email, their phone number, first and last name. And then this is like the table of contents. So before I go anywhere, I'll just click Start Proposal. And it's going to have up at this top right. And then it's going to say, hey, please add the customer's energy usage details. So it's going to walk you through how to do this. So we're going to click Add Energy Usage. And so it's going to allow us to insert each month. And then, or let's say that we can't get that right away. And the homeowner says, no, but I know my average monthly bill is about $200. Okay, perfect. And then this is right here. So we've got that plugged in, average monthly. And then we have to, it'll be different based on who their utility provider is. So you need to make sure that this is available. Encore is the electric company out here. And then after solar, this is only applicable really in Texas, but you need to make sure that they're on a solar plan. But let's just say Green Mountain Energy for out here in Texas. And so post solar rate, normally you don't have to edit that, but you can leave that. So boom, we got this, we've got it ready. And then so the homeowner told you their average bill was 200. So when you click this 30-year total up here, it actually shows you, and this is a brilliant tool. It shows a homeowner, oh shit, because, and I tell homeowners, I say, hey, look, Mr. Homeowner, I meet with people, and this at the beginning of the sale, because I'm walking you through step by step. So Mr. Homeowner, Mr. Jordan, you there, Mr. Jordan?
Yes, sir.
So I remember when we first started talking this morning, you were worried about, you said, I want to go solar, but you were just worried about the cost, right?
Correct.
And so the biggest cost to me, obviously, we're here to try to help you save money. You can only care about the environment so much before you want to see, well, what does it actually cost me? And so what actually costs a lot of money, Mr. Jordan, is if this is called the cost of doing nothing. If for some reason you decided at some point to not upgrade your house, Mr. Jordan, you'd end up, if you stayed with the utility, you'd be spending about, over the next 30 years, if without solar, you're locked into about $145,000. So you're locked into that. There's no way out. So, and these are very conservative numbers. And so that is really expensive. So hopefully we can get you more affordable energy. And then I kind of like put my period on that sentence, and then I move forward. And then when I click that arrow at the next top right, what it'll actually, it explains. So Mr. Jordan, just to kind of let you know, so this might put things into perspective for you, but traditional power, it says right here, traditional power arrives to your home through a highly complex system of generation stations, which you've seen those on the side of this is generation stations. Then they have the transformers, the substations. You've probably seen those on the side of the interstate, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the power lines, like the actual, and obviously, I mean, if you own the utility company, like, I don't think they're evil necessarily, but like, you got to keep up with all this equipment, right? You got to keep like, and so it's, I mean, it's not that big, but of a deal, but it costs a lot of money to maintain this. So it says your utility bill does not include only the cost, it does not only include the cost of producing your electricity, but also the maintenance of this aging infrastructure. In addition to the other fees, administrative charges, profits, because I'll be honest with you, these companies are not nonprofits. Like a lot of them are publicly traded companies, and they have to show their investors that they're making money. So they have to raise their electric rates. It's not a question of if they're going to do it. They're literally for-profit companies. If you owned a utility company, if you owned it, Jordan, you would want it to make profit. And in some cases, it also has legal expenses for lawsuits and other things. And so if you actually take a look at your bill, Mr. Jordan, you can literally see all the different fees that are on the bill. And it's actually quite, like, it's quite alarming. I mean, it's not just the electricity you're paying for. You're paying for the power lines, you're paying for the trucks, the power trucks, and making sure that all of this equipment is updated. And so the way that it works with solar is you kind of become your own utility company. You'll still stay connected to the grid. And so if you ever did need extra electricity, or God forbid, the solar panels just magically stop working, or if the sun completely went away, or at nighttime, you'll still have power. So during the day, you'll likely produce more solar energy than you consume. And then it says this excess solar energy is sent back to the utility grid, and it actually shows as credits on your bill, right? And then at nighttime, you're actually going to use more energy than you're producing, so that the credits you accumulated during the day are actually going to be provided by the utility when the sun isn't shining. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so it's very simple, but this is a quick slide. It just talks about how, because you have options, Jordan, right? You could technically choose any company. I could work with any company, Mr. Jordan, but I love referral business. And what happens is that if I make sure that you're taken care of and my clients are taken care of on the front end, then on the back end, a lot of the times I get that word of mouth business, right? And so I can work for anybody, but I chose Freedom specifically because of these features. And it says by going solar, you're actually going to reduce your reliance on the utility grid and actually gain control over the energy costs today and in the future. And you'll like, so some of the key points is that we actually do have no money down options that are available. So, I don't know, Jordan, if you already have funds set aside for a project like this, or if you were possibly maybe considering like one of our $0 out of pocket options. But also we do have a 25-year production guarantee, which really kind of separates us from the industry. And that says that if for some reason something doesn't work, and you get an electric bill and it doesn't produce what we say it's going to produce, then you can actually send that electric bill to us, Mr. Jordan, and then we take care of that for you. Just peace of mind, right? And then, so we also have a 25-year labor for parts, maintenance, warranties, equipment. It's all included. So whether you own it, whether you lease it, whether you pay cash, you actually have a 25-year bumper to bumper warranty. And then also by choosing to work with us, you actually may qualify to end up potentially like benefiting from a lot of the incentives and tax benefits that are available for homeowners that go solar. And then also there's a possible increased home value. Don't listen to my word. Don't even listen to Freedom's word on this. You can go to energy.gov, you can go to redfin.com, you can go to Zillow, and they all agree that solar is an upgrade to a house and that it makes the home sell faster for a premium. And then the last but not least is we actually have a customer portal where you can interact with us and you can actually see what your system, what each panel on the roof is producing real time so that you know exactly what you're getting and where you're at each month and each day and each hour. And it kind of gives you just peace of mind. And so just to another little, one of the key reasons why I love working with Freedom is, so Freedom's the largest private solar installer in the country. And Vivint, have you ever heard of Vivint, Mr. Jordan?
Once or twice. Isn't that like a security company or something?
Yeah, exactly. So they're a multi-billion-dollar security company, America's largest security company. And so we actually teamed up now because we feel like when you're upgrading your home, usually people do that all at once. They do a lot of different upgrades. It's like they're just trying to be proactive and take care of their house. And so now you can actually combine energy producing solar with an energy saving smart home system to actually save on the cost and the efficiency, like with a smart home. And so we have a few different packages, and these actually they're not going to cost you anything out of pocket. So this first one is just called the Vivint Smart Home. And so this is just like an essentials bundle. I know when at the beginning of our conversation, Jordan, you said that you just moved in and that you don't have a security system for your house yet. You don't have to accept any of these packages, but you're definitely it is available for homeowners. Because if you do want to buy a security system for your home, it's going to cost you a few $1,000s, and then you have to pay for it monthly. But because of our partnership with Vivint, and you could say yes to this, or you could just say no, I'll maybe think about it some other time. But what this does is for at no cost to you, there's no hidden fees or anything. You can actually get all of this installed, which is a smart home where you can track and see exactly what your system's producing. You can lock your house, you can take care of your thermostat, etc. You get a motion detector, 2 door sensors, a smart thermostat, a video doorbell, and then 36 months, so 3 years of free service and monitoring. And then after that, you just pay for it monthly like you would for any other security company. But it's included. So you could say yes to it and you could have it hooked up right away. Or you could just, if you already have a security system, you could just say no thanks. But this is included with every package we do. And then you could also do the premium package plus the premium plus package, and you can see what that looks like. But anyways, we'll move forward, Mr. Jordan. And so this is my favorite part, Jordan. This is probably what you're curious about. This is this uses artificial intelligence to measure the roof, and it actually calculates the sun path to make sure that we can actually guarantee this amount of electricity. And so this looks like you're living in a church, Mr. Jordan, so it's going to draw this out for you, sir. Because I put in the church address for you because you just living at church, sir. But yeah, anyways, y'all, so this is going to draw out their roof, and then it'll allow us to place panels on the roof, and it's also going to track the path of the sun and make sure that it's getting enough sunshine to actually get rid of this person's electric bill. And so as it's measuring, it's still loading, takes a second. It's using satellite, so this baby's thousands of miles away. But as soon as it's done measuring, I will, let's see. There, perfect. So it can tell it's done kind of what I did yesterday in that Sunrun training, where it's measured out the roof. It uses it's an AI, so it's artificial intelligence that does this, but it knows where each roof is pointing. It even catches the vents in the roof, like you can see right here, to where it won't place panels. And then over here on the left hand side, y'all, you can actually see where you can choose the panel type. Let's say that hypothetically, let's say they wanted a ground mount out here, for example, we would choose this ground mount option. It's got a little thing right here, and then you could click, and then you can click and drag, and you can do that. But we're not doing a ground mount, so but I'm going to click this, and I'm going to choose. We have a few different types of panels. Just because a panel produces more or less doesn't mean that it's a better fit. It just means that, I mean, if a panel is producing more power, that doesn't mean that it's a better deal. It's like if you gave a grandma a 700 horsepower engine, that doesn't mean that it's a better engine. So the only time you would use a higher watt panel typically is if somebody was requesting it, but typically what it comes down to is if you're limited on the amount of roof space. In San Francisco, for example, a lot of the roofs out there are really, really small. And so if you're limited on roof space and you can only fit X amount of panels, you'll want to do a higher output panel if possible. But like I mentioned, y'all, 99 out of 100 times, and I'm probably 99.9 out of 100 times, I'm not touching any of these three. I'm choosing the FF Halo 400 watt panels. There stands for Freedom Forever. So the Freedom panels. So I'll click that, and then I'll click place. And then it's going to place panels on the roof. It's going to do the work for me. I don't have to do anything other than sit here and wait. And then it should only take a second, and then we'll do some Q&A here in a minute. But very simple process. And it's placing panels, loading, loading, loading. And then up here at the top right, once the panels are placed, it'll actually show how many panels we need and then what energy offset we can get to. So looks like clearly we could fit a lot of panels everywhere. Never want to put them on the north side. And then typically, just like, I mean, anybody with half of a brain, if you can make a solar system look good in like a perfect rectangle, then do that. Don't make it look crazy. Like if you can make it look nice, make it look nice. And so this shows that these amount of 22 panels right here, over here, and right here, 22 panels, 8.8 kilowatt size system would produce more than this homeowner needs. So they needed 12,938 to get rid of their electric bill, but this system is producing more. So let's just say, perfect, this is good. So I'll click finalize up here at the top right, and it's going to move me to the next step. And so it's saving the design. And then we're moving along. So now we've secured a preliminary design. And you can also go through this whole process, what I'm doing now, before you ever even go to the homeowner's house. If you get a copy of their electric bill, before you even call them, you could have all of this work done. And you could do this. I'm talking through it, so I'm just adding a bunch of bullshit time, but you can do this design in like under 5 minutes easily. And so you've just designed a quote for somebody in 5 minutes, maybe even less. And so it normally doesn't take this long, and I normally don't go through that whole presentation. I just didn't want to jip y'all out. Some clients need to hear all of that. Some clients just want the meat and potatoes. Anything to add, Jordan?
No, I really appreciate you showing all this stuff here. I think it would be appropriate though to like kind of let like the class know. The reason why we want to do Sunrun first is because it's a lower number, right? So it just makes the sale a lot smoother. I know a lot of you have been asking me about commercial deals. So with commercial deals, we are going to have to go this route. And they're going to have to, it's going to essentially be like a cash price deal. So then this way they're going to need like their own private lending or their own cash to go ahead with their project. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. I get, handful of commercial questions each week.
Question. Now, you said it was easy just to convert this to Sunrun. I halfway through your presentation on Sunrun yesterday since I missed it. Can you show us how to convert this real quick?
So there's no way to actually convert it, but what you could do easily, let's say we're going to Frank Thomas, is as I'm building this out, remember this only took me like, it normally just takes you like 5 minutes if you're not blabbermouthing like I was just then. But if you wanted to create a Sunrun proposal, you literally click it, click create Sunrun proposal, and then it'll go do the work for you. It's going to ask you, it'll bring this up, and then if you wanted to do that, and then it's already done. So it's going to do a design, and then now it's creating this opportunity for you. So you can have your Aurora proposal for purchase, your Sunrun proposal designed, and then all of your details all here in the Freedom Forever portal. And so I'll cover that in a little bit, but so just covering this. So we've got this system designed. So we're just going to click next. And then this is the feel good. This is your Mr. Homeowner, Mr. Jordan, your decision matters. Look, man, by choosing to go solar, you're going to save your wallet and you're going to save the planet. You're going to save 5,446 trees, 500 barrels of oil, and 174 acres. So your decision matters, Jordan. And actually, on that part right there, I've actually had people like when I can stay on that slide, and like some people really go overboard and they
emotional.
Yeah, they actually really, I mean, I say that lightheartedly, y'all, just because most Americans, they just want to know how much does it cost. But regardless of the cost, if you've said it correctly, when I go down, that's the cost. That's the cost of what they're doing right now. So if we can get them emotional during this period and just explain to them that they're locked into that $145,000 and they could make a decision that does change our future, and then also give them an opportunity to I never really show the homeowner this number, these figures until they click apply, or until I apply for them with them, because there is an art, and I'm gonna get into this, like this is a nugget that like no other solar people will tell you, but if and it works, like it works wonders, and I pray that you guys can stand strong behind this principle. But if you can, and I'm serious about this, if you can credit check your homeowners and get them to pre-qualify to see the numbers, you will always have a better position than revealing your cards and revealing the big number and then asking them if they want to like pre-qualify. And so the way that I treat homeowners is that like I just tell them straight up, I'm like, yo, my system, I could give you an estimate, it'll be less than 145,000, but like my system really doesn't work like that. Like the only way that I'm sure you're wondering about what the cost is, and the way, like, I'm curious too, actually. And so I'm wondering what your monthly, but it all depends on what you qualify for. And so and then I just do a pre-qualification, just like I did yesterday, with Jordan with the Sunrun, to where I'm just basically, in a simple terms, I'm making them do a soft credit check to find out what the numbers are. Because if you walk on a car dealership right now and you say, hey, I want that Mercedes, how much does it cost? They're gonna say, well, dude, depends on what you qualify for. The soft credit check, Saint, by the way, is like 30 seconds. It's immediate, like it's giving you an answer within 5 seconds of you clicking submit, but to fill it out, it takes like 30 seconds. And but anyways, it's like the art of seduction. It's keeping your cards close to your chest. Don't show numbers. That's the thing. Never show a quote to someone who hasn't qualified for that quote. It's not a fun game. It's like letting you know, it's like letting someone know that you like them before you even ask them on a date. It's just, you want to keep your cards close to your chest. You want to, like, you totally could be like every other solar advisor in America and then show them that $49,000 number and then hope that they say, wow, that's a good deal. Can I qualify for that? It just, don't do that. Get them to buy in with you on the front end. But what it says is pre-qualify now. I click that apply button. So I'm just going to keep my cards close to my chest. I know the numbers are right there, but I'm not going to show them that shit until they pre-qualify. And so it automatically fills out everything for them. All I need is not the full social, Mr. Jordan, just the last four. Okay, so 3333. And then your date of birth was 10/17, 1990. Okay, and then can you verify that you own do you own the property? Yep. Are you a resident there? Do you want a co-applicant? Nope, you don't. Okay. And then how much money did you make last year? Okay. And then and then any other income? Okay, perfect. Awesome. And then your phone number, you have an alternative phone number? Okay, perfect. And then it even shows this right here. If you ever have a sketched out customer, submitting a pre-qualification will not affect your credit score. This is a soft credit check, y'all. It's a very simple process. It's the same thing that happens when you go to AT&T. So it's a very simple process. So we're going to go back. Let's just pretend he got approved. Yep. Hooray. He got approved. And we're going to go back. We'll go back to the lead. And I'm on my hotspot, y'all, so I appreciate y'all's patience. So we'll go back to this, and then we'll go over the numbers and pretend like Mr. Jordan got approved. And then let's see, David says, once the contract is complete, will it show as a loan on their credit report? Will it show as a lien on the property since a UCC is filed? Things. No, so yes, it'll show as a loan on their credit report, which is why most people choose Sunrun, because with this route, they are taking out a loan with Aurora and with buying the system. Like it is, yeah, it will show on their credit. It's not going to show as a tax lien on the home. And it's a very simple process with that. Let me pull this up for y'all. And then this is something that we were talking about earlier before everyone got on the call. We have multiple different options for financing. We have as interest rates as low as like 3.5%, which is unbelievably low. And then average credit cards are like 18 to 25%. And there's interest rates that have zero fees attached to them, such as like a 10.59 APR, annual percentage rate, which is like the same as cash. So if somebody wanted to pay this off over a shorter period of time, or whether they chose maybe a 10-year deal, obviously their bill is going to be much more right here. And so, but let's say, just so y'all know, 99% of clients are going to choose a 25-year option, even if they're not going to live there for 25 years. Just like if you're going to buy a house, you want that 30-year mortgage. You don't want to be spending $15,000 a month on a house and try to pay it off in 5 years. You're going to choose that 30-year mortgage, even if you plan on selling, or even if you're not going to be there for 30 years. It's always 100% transferable. It's a very simple process. But so choose the highest length of time, no prepayment penalties, and then you'll choose the lowest interest rate to get you that lowest monthly payment. And then last but not least, before we even really dive in and look at this right here, there is a $ right here, y'all, where we click this $, and this is going to be, we're going to change this price. A very fair price in California and in Texas, kind of a low ball, in my opinion, would be $3 a watt. So we'll just do 3 just because it's a church. So we're going to hook them up. And so these are called adders right here in this section. So this is how we kind of manipulate and change the pricing. This will affect your commission. You could make a killing on this, or you could literally hand it away for something very low. So you can see how things change with this. But the critter guard is like, it's so that squirrels and birds can't get under the panels and chew the wires. Doesn't really happen, but if somebody has a pigeon problem or something and they ask for it, they could do that, and it adds a little bit to the project. And then all of these, there's a bunch of different adders. Like if somebody wanted to add someone wanted to add a brand new roof, you would click re-roof, and then you would maybe add $8,000 in for a roof. And then so you could do that. You could do a miscellaneous adder, where after install you build in $2,000, and then after install this homeowner now gets $2,000 cash back, and it doesn't affect your commission. Maybe so you could do that. You could do a main panel upgrade where they need to get a new main electrical panel on the house. So you click this, and then that adds that money to the project. Oh, Danny, you want this on the ground? Okay, well, let me click a ground mount. And then so it's going to add in X amount of dollars to the project. Oh, you want in-phase inverters, like micro inverters where every panel has their own inverter? Cool, let me click that. Adds that to the project. And so these are adders. So it's just, you can learn about these on your own time. Very simple. Oh, you need trees trimmed? Cool. Well, let me build in an estimate of maybe $1,500 so that we can actually outsource tree trimming. Oh, you wanted a battery? Let me add in that battery for you. And then so you can get a battery added now. And so anyways, all these different adders, you'll find this in this pricing section. And these are things that you can ask questions about and just learn about over time. I wouldn't get too far into it. Most projects don't really need that. But change this pricing. And then now look at this. This homeowner, Jordan, you told me your bill was $200 every month. And then now your bill is $145 a month. How does that sound?
Phenomenal. Where do I sign?
Exactly. And so just to kind of put this into perspective, there's attention in the details, y'all. So use tax. So the way that this works, Mr. Jordan, is that your solar system will be $145 per month for the first 18 months. It shows right here. Monthly payments 1 through 17 is $145 a month. During that time, you told me that you make around $200,000 a year or so. During that time, you'll have a chance to collect. You may collect this tax credit. I'm not a tax expert. Talk to your CPA, but based on my experience, you should be fine with this. So you'll get this tax credit, this $12,000, and then you'll get this tax credit. And then if you put it towards your solar payment, and right here, use tax credit to pay down the loan at month 18. If you do that, then it'll stay at $145 a month. But let's say for some reason you decide that you want to pocket that tax credit. You want to walk away with $12,000. You're going to go put it on black in the casino, and you're going to gamble that away, and you blow it all. Or let's say you buy a new boat, or you pay off credit card debt with this, and you don't take the solar tax credit and apply it towards the solar loan, then your payment's going to go up, and it'll go up to about $200, $208 a month. And so that's not bad, honestly, because remember, Mr. Jordan, you're already paying $200 a month, and it's obviously going to go up every year. Because look, year 2, when I click on year 2, you're already at 208. So what really happens, and let's just say year 10, you're at 300. So what's really happening, Mr. Jordan, is you're actually going to get a $12,000 signing bonus for choosing clean energy, and then you're just going to pay less. So you're going to get 12 grand to say yes, and then you're actually literally just going to have a bill that you're already paying now. How's that sound?
Where do I sign?
Exactly. And then you can go to this is a bill overview right here, where you can actually see what it looks like on an annual basis, what it looks like over time. If they wanted to apply, you can click that. And then you could go over the last step, which is the next steps. So Mr. Jordan, even I know you say you want to get started, but let me be honest with you, all that we could do today, even if you wanted to get started, the first thing we would do is just send an engineer out there and then get this final design going. Typically nothing changes because our software is really nice. But after you give us thumbs up on this final design, then we'll actually move towards permitting. And then after permitting, sometimes that could take a few days. Sometimes it can take a month just to get a permit. It's nothing to do with your end. It's literally just the lady or the man at the permit desk is overwhelmed because there's a lot of people going solar right now. And then install day, it only takes like 2 to 3 hours to get installed. And after that, we just have to make sure that we get permission to operate, PTO, from the utility company, and then that's when it's turned on. And so it's a very simple process, but any other questions?
Where do I sign?
So what I'm going to do is send you over so what we'll do is so right here, I'm going to click generate project. And then we're going to choose Mosaic. We're going to choose this church here. Going to choose the utility company, Encore. And we're just so you know, class, we are submitting, like, now that we have this design done, that's just the design. We have to let Freedom Forever know that this client's trying to go solar, trying to move forward. So we have to submit it, not as a quote, but like, this homeowner is trying to go solar. Like Jordan right now is trying to go solar. So we click, this is when you click generate project. So it's already got it pre-populated for us. So we're gonna click. So it's literally just, this is very basic. No one ever taught me this when I first got into solar. I had to figure it out. And so shows their email, the phone number, who's the utility bill holder, that's Mr. Frank. Is there a homeowners association? I'm not really sure. No, no, there's not. Okay. Are there lock gates? Nope. Sounds good. Mr. Jordan, you didn't want that security package because you already got a pit bull in the backyard that will kill someone. And so you don't need that, doesn't want it. And then you've already got this filled out. And if it wasn't filled out, you guys can obviously get this information. 22 panels, you know, it's the Freedom panels in first year production. You can find that right in the system design up here. It'll tell you as it loads annual, not annual usage, annual production. And then it tells you 22 panels, 8.8. Okay, yeah, I got the right details. Click next. Yep, this is a roof mount. Do you want to add a battery? Nope. Are there any other like things that we need to consider? Nope, not at this point. Okay, yep. Total system. Yep, it's already, and it's already filled all this out for you. You can find any of this other info by clicking this drop down menu if you had to, and then click next, and then click next, and then it'll ask you for some of these details, and then you could click, let's say we're going to maximize system production. How can we make this work? Take care of my man Jordan. He's got a pit bull in the back yard. Watch out. LOL. And then let's go. So now it's going to send a text to Jordan. If I were to click this, it would send a text to Jordan to then create a Freedom Forever portal where he would, it would send a text and an email, and then it'll ask him to create a password. And when he logs in to that portal, it'll ask him to sign the Texas permit authorization, which is just something here in Texas, the Freedom agreement, like the installation agreement. That's the Freedom contract. And then the acknowledgement of utility bill practices was just knowing that you know how it works out here. And then after that, it'll show you how to schedule a site survey and submit the project. So the only other document that's needed from this is, I'll let anyone in the class guess, what have we done and what have we not done? Which part of the agreements are we missing? Does anyone know?
Verification call.
Close. So it is the finance agreement. I emailed those. Jordan qualified for it, but he still has to sign the finance agreement. He signed an install agreement with us, but he also has to sign the loan documents with Mosaic, because Mosaic's the bank that's paying for this.
Yeah, I was gonna say the John Hancock on the whole deal, because I missed that part on the, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
Which would be through another portal or like another link,
yeah,
It
it would go to his or her email, your
and
client.
then it like syncs up
Yep.
online
Yep.
once they sign it. Okay.
Yep. And it's and again, I would never do this on your own for the first few projects. It's nice to have these videos to watch them and to go through it. But it's a very simple process. But yes, Saint, great question. They can get finance. You can provide your own solar financing. And then if they did that, if somebody said, what, 3% interest, I could get 2%. Cool. Well, then you write it up as a cash deal. They get their own financing. But what happens is that most people can't get their own financing for 25 years. They may be able to go get a loan out for 1% or low percent. But what makes solar loans so sexy, and I still like Mosaic, I just prefer Sunrun, But what makes it good is that you're actually taking out a home improvement loan for 25 years. So it makes a monthly payment really small. So it's super good either way. But yeah, all the time you can easily build in a cost of a brand new roof and all these other things into the project. It's a very simple project. But somebody said, so how much would be commission on a project like this? So I'm gonna break that down for y'all just to encapsulate the full A to Z. And I will do that on the whiteboard right here. So does anyone know? I would unmute yourself and know what price I sold at, if anyone knows.
$3.
$3 per watt. And so, and in Texas, the price is $2.30 per watt. And so that leaves $700 per watt. This was a relatively small deal. So $700 per watt. And then Freedom Forever has that 80-20 rule where they pay for 20% of the adders. If you ever have any questions about the 80-20 rule, refer to the commissions video. But Freedom provides really good pricing for that. And so what we do is the solar advisor gets 80% of this. And so I'm gonna take out.
That's per kilowatt, right?
Yeah, per kilowatt. Or yeah, sorry, per kilowatt. So 700 times 0.8 is 560 per kilowatt. And then does anyone know the system size on this?
22 panels, I believe.
Yeah, 22 panels, which at 400 watts, 22 panels times 400 watts is an 8.8 kW system. So we do 560 times 8.8, which is, this is kind of a small system, y'all. I mean, it's 22 panels is not a lot. Most houses in Texas are 30 to 40 panels. Kayla, who was in a class earlier, it was in a previous class, she just helped their family go solar the other day, and her family was 58 panels. And so I'll share two examples. I'll share that example with her, and then but I'll finish this one. So 8.8 times 560 is $4,928 that you earned in an hour on Zoom helping someone get more affordable electricity. And all they had to do was just say yes. Do you have to get on the roof and install the panels? No. Do you have to do anything technically after you submit the project? No. So you get, for literally pulling up to a gas station and saying, hey, I can get you more affordable gas, just by literally doing that, you earned $5,000 an hour. And so let's say you just end up average, which I pray to God that you guys don't end up average, and you do this 4 times a month. Now you're at $20,000 a month, which is $240,000 a year. And I pray for y'all's sake, and just so that you guys can get this, doing 4 of these a month is very subpar, and you have to actually try to be this bad to consistently only get 4 a month. Like you better be working part-time.
So as far as the adders are concerned, do we have to mark them up to make money on them, or do we put them in and don't make money on them?
Yeah, so we don't get paid for adders, you don't get paid for bird cages or for batteries. Nobody does, but you could, if you could, I would always build that into the cost of the payment so that it doesn't come out of your side. So if, like, in that pricing section that I talked about, you always want to include the adders so that it doesn't eat away from your profit. Because if you took some money out of the project, then you would have obviously a smaller commission if you didn't build in the cost of any of the adders. But in this same example, to say, like, let's say 58 panels, like Kayla got the other day, 58 panels at 400 watts per panel, that is a 22 kilowatt system, I believe. And then at 560 per kilowatt times 22, just a normal house. I mean, yeah, just it's not all the average in Texas is about 15. Same thing with Florida. California can sometimes be a little bit smaller. Just every house is different, y'all. But on 560 times 22 is for one house, saving them money is a $12,320 commission. And so if you do four of 4 houses per month times 4, you're now at $49,280 per month. Voila. And you could be 18 years old and do this, or you could be 55 years old and do this. But there are people that are in solar right now that don't know nearly as much as y'all do right now, that are going out and doing these systems every day. And why? Because it's just not that complex. When we go back, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen on, like, you don't need to be a guru to get someone to say yes. If they're paying $200 to $300 to $400 a month, you don't have to be a salesperson. You don't have to know how solar works, and you don't have to be a genius to get people to say yes to $145 versus $200. You just don't have to be, it's not that serious. Like you just, generally speaking, imagine if Jordan would have sat here and said, you know, Danny, I just need to think about it. I just want to, I mean, I know it's significantly less than what I'm paying now, but I just want to think about it, man. $39,000 is a lot of money. And then in this world of seller be sold, if I let Jordan say, oh yeah, man, he needs to think about it. He needs to talk to his wife. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he should definitely think. $39,000 is a lot of money. Oh yeah, man, that's a lot. Yeah, you should think about it. You should definitely think about it. And if I get sold on that and I'm not good enough at my craft and understanding, and if I don't have enough conviction in my voice, and I let Jordan add time to the equation and do 100 spin this in the meantime, or wait 5 years or wait X amount of time and then start paying less. If you could save, how soon would you want to save, Mr. Jordan? Duh. And so this is why I love solar. And even if I was the best solar advisor in the world and I was able to help 5,000 people go solar a month, me alone, I wouldn't even touch a corner of Dallas. And so that's why, again, like, we're always expanding while we're always recruiting. But yeah, this is unbelievably effective at providing solutions for people. And so I see Javier said, you get 5K when the project is installed. Do you get an upfront payment after the deal? So with 99% of solar companies out there, they don't offer anything upfront because nobody gets paid until the install's done. It's just the way that it works. Can I get paid before the work is done? No. And so it's just part of the project. It's just life. But what's different about us is we actually do provide up to $1,000 up front. And so if you do 5 deals this week, assuming that they're all moving forward, next week you'll get $5,000, even though that the projects aren't installed. So you get $100 per kilowatt up to 10 kilowatts upfront pay. And so that just allows people to keep going and keep going. And then installs can take as soon as 2 weeks, but they can also take as long as 2 months. And my goal, and what was when I first got started, was to say, okay, well, since I'm going to keep doing this and I'm not just trying to do this for a week or for a month, the hardest month will be my first month, because after I get my first few projects under my belt, then the next month while I'm working, those deals will install and pay me. And then I'll forever have money coming in. and as long as I continue working. And so that's the simplicity of it. I see Saint says, so once we sign the contract with them, the rest is in Freedom Forever's hands, correct? Exactly. And that's why I love Freedom. We don't have to take pictures. We don't have to, technically, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to visit anybody. You don't even have to call your client again. That would be a very shitty thing. That's like waiting a table, dropping the food off, and then never coming back to the table. I mean, obviously you want to be there. That's how you get business, is by like Kayla, her site survey is in Dallas. It's here today. And so an engineer from Freedom Forever is going to show up in a Freedom Forever truck out to the house today. We don't have to be there, but Kayla and I are both going out there today so that we can meet, say hello to the homeowners again, be that bridge to where we're introducing the engineer, and then we're just there to make sure everything goes smoothly. And so it's a very simple project. But yeah, that's what we do. And so, but yeah, we definitely don't have to lift panels. We don't have to install. We don't have to maintain. It's a very simple approach. But yeah, great question, Saint. David says, what's the best way to touch base and have our questions answered after today? So Jordan is, and I, we're going to be combining several of the chats together. So we'll have a master chat. And then also I would highly recommend that you guys just add my phone number and Jordan's phone number, just add it to a text. You can text us at any time. And yeah, I mean, that's the value of working with other people, is just having support there. My goal is to just make sure that you guys feel comfortable and feel independent. It's a very simple process, but it's definitely important to learn it and to be effective at it. And so, but yeah, we'll have an active chat, and then we'll continuously do our sales meetings. Again, the morning meetings at 11 a.m. Now this education is finished, so to speak. We'll be doing continuous education every single day, every single week. If you have questions, we'll tap in. But and then but the morning calls are really for like, yo, I'm going to work today. I'm going to go hit 100 doors today. And at 7 p.m., I'm going to report back and I'm going to tell you what I did, how my day went, and some of the wins and the lessons I got. And if you didn't go out and work because you're running a busy life and you have kids or you're taking care of something, don't feel ashamed to show up at the 7 o'clock, because you may be picking up nuggets and inspiring someone else, or just the art of showing up is 90% of it. And so understand that it's a journey. And I see Lindley, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, quick question. If we're making 4, 5, 6 figures a month, potentially, I know that you said that the best way to go about it would be having an LLC so things don't get messy with taxes. And I know that you said that that there's someone kind of in-house that that deals with that. How would we want to go about that, and how soon would we want to get that in the works?
So I'm glad you asked, and that'll lead me to a 2-part answer. The first part would just be like, there's two paths. You, as soon as you can, but if until you have it, I would, my friend to friend recommendation would be as soon as you actually have a project in the works, because otherwise we're putting our energy in the wrong direction, because the first goal is to get money on the way. But as far as that goes, yeah, I mean, yeah, having an LLC or an S corp could be a very simple process. But
you can also redact your income from like the previous 6 months. So even if you made like 50 grand, like from now until June, you launch an S corp in July, you can claim that income through your S corp. So there's a really good resource I would encourage everyone to use. It's called inkfile.com. You can literally launch an LLC within like 15-20 minutes, super basic information. It'll set you up with a Bank of America account, very affordable. But yeah, kind of like what Danny said, like let's get some capital coming in. But yes, like the long game is you guys definitely want LLC and or S corp. Virginia S corp makes sense for me. If you don't have a CPA, consult with your CPA. It's not tax advice. But yeah, that's something you guys definitely want to set up.
What's the difference between an LLC and an S corp?
It's just a classification status. So, there's really no like real difference outside of like an S corp. You're going to pay yourself, a salary. So then this way you don't have to like pay into like self-employment and like Medicare. So pretty much for every $100,000 that you make, depending on the states, you're going to save $7,500. Whereas if it was just a typical LLC, and you didn't pay yourself a salary, you're going to have to pay into that Medicare and that self-employment tax, which is like, I think it's at least 7.5%, or actually, excuse me, I think it's 15%. It was 15% last year. So by converting yourself to an S corp as to paying your salary, so let's say you made $200,000 this year. Now you're going to pay yourself $90,000. You're going to take that $90,000 and subtract it from the $200,000 as a cost of doing business, right? So now you're just paying like your typical salary on the wages you paid yourself. And instead of having to pay a huge lump on 200,000, now you're paying smaller on that 120 or 115. So that's just, I don't want us to get too far off track, but yeah, definitely consult a CPA, do your own research on Google. But I would certainly encourage, if you guys, planning on cracking 6 figures, it's important to do that. My first year I cracked 6 figures. I did not have an LLC or S corp in place, and I ended up paying like an extra $7,000 to $8,000 in taxes. And I promised myself I will never do that again.
Yeah, standard for a single person with no children or anything like that's 33%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, y'all, that's all for today. But I'm gonna post this recording, and then over the weekend, we're gonna be doing some canvassing training. And so we'll really get into some nitty-gritty, but there's a lot of value still to come. But it is, yeah, it's just, you're not supposed to be graduated yet. This is literally just a foundation. It's momentum, and you build on top of this. I would go get some Freedom Forever like gear, get a shirt, get a badge, get some printouts. Shout out Serenity for having a lot of her stuff already done. But a very simple process. Saint says, what state should I buy leads in? I found some lead sites. The 2 lead sites I would recommend are prospectbacon.com and infintechdesigns.com. Or if you want to go find your own, you could. I would personally recommend for leads, I would personally recommend Dallas, AZ, or maybe Orlando. And that's because we actually have like trained closers who are there, who could, if for some reason you couldn't tackle that lead and get it all the way through the process, we could actually have a closer go out there, whether it's myself, Jordan, Chris, or Vince, actually pull up to the house and make sure to close it down for you. And if anyone ever wants to come out to Dallas and come shadow me and or just be around and get around the campfire even as close as possible, there's definitely, it is the business capital of America right now. Dallas is a booming city, and there's just millions and millions of people moving here, and it's a lot of fun. So do you think they sell leads for $100 on those sites? It's totally relevant. I never look at cost per lead. I would pay $500 for a lead. It just depends on the quality of the lead. And so it's the minimum like budget is usually like $3,000 to $5,000 for the leads, but I would always recommend what several nomads have already done is open up an LLC and then get business financing, get a business loan out, and then like for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and then start a small campaign, and or just go balls deep into it and go all in. because at the end of the day, it's when it costs you $300 for an appointment, and then you close 1 out of 5 of those appointments and you spend $1,500 to get a $5,000 or $10,000 commission, it's a no-brainer. You just keep doing it over and over. But yeah, David, the 2 sites are Prospect Bacon, BACON, like breakfast bacon, and then the other one is Infintech, like INFINTECH designs.com, infintechdesigns.com. And you can just book a call with them and just see if it's a good fit, see if it's something that you feel comfortable with. Some people go door to door and they buy their leads with their time and their energy. And then some people want to buy them with money. And if you have that ability, or if you have good credit, or if you have the wherewithal to go out and to get after it, then it's definitely worth it. But other than that, yeah, God bless you guys. I'll post this chat, and then I look forward to connecting with y'all later this evening. But we'll do some door-to-door training this weekend. We haven't opened anything up for Q&A before we head out. I will let y'all do any Q&A.
Real quick question on those Tesla panels. So we're running into some houses that have small roofs. Is the cost the same on them as the Freedom panels? Do you like the Tesla panels at all? I mean, it's only 25 more than the 400, but
yeah, it's not going to make a big difference. It's a case-by-case project. So I would just see if it's worth it or not. But on the Freedom Forever adder seat, the last thing I'll share with y'all is this last piece right here. So on this left-hand side, they have an install map. I may have shown you all this already. Let's just say we're sitting in front of a client and we want to see, hey, I wonder if we've done any business in Orlando. You can literally see where clients are, every single client that Freedom's helped. And so you can not only establish a lot of credibility, this is just in Florida. So clearly we have a shit ton of business like all over. So that's awesome. But also this is such a savage resource, and I pray that you guys are sharp enough to dig through this and at least dig through it, find some shit, and then ask questions about it. What you were asking about, Chris, is the adder sheet, which you can actually see right here. Where anything, if you're wondering about how much it costs, what it looks like, you can all see all of that right there. Any questions you like, Tesla is a 44-cent adder. So to be honest with you, Chris, it's definitely not worth it. I would not do that. We just offer it, but I would just not do that.
Understood. Yeah, I looked at this sheet, but I'm not familiar with it, so I'll look at it a few more times.
Sure. And as you guys look through these things, like here's one, education and webinars. Let's see, webinar directory 2023. There's webinar directory 2021. And they have these webinars that are available that you can watch these videos on, like Sunrun webinar.
So I've also noticed too, in the business email that you set up for us, I'm getting invitations to these webinars, and I've been signing up for them, even though sometimes they're running through these classes. But when you sign up for them, it gives you a chance to go back and watch them. It saves them for you.
Yep. And then
So
last but not
cool.
least, y'all, this Freedom Marketing right here. You can click on this. There's brochures, there's helpful documents, there's logos if you want to make business cards or whatever. There's the Freedom Forever panel, where it actually has the commercial for Freedom Forever on there. But let's go back to Freedom Marketing, go to brochures. Let's see, your guide to going solar. If you need any printouts or helpful documents, you guys can you can get these straight up.
We can also order a little panel, right? For doing like fairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it should be able to. You can also just get them on eBay somewhere in like a little $50 panel or something. But this is something you could print out And then I was gonna say something else, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's you just become resourceful. It's a very simple process, and then again, you're not on your own ever. So we're here, and if you're ever with a client or want to work on a project, all you have to do is send me a Zoom link. I send Jordan a Zoom link, and we can hop on and assist. But other than that, any other questions, y'all?
Any quick question on just on when you showed you could add in for the financing for like a roof or something like that. Obviously, that's another ball of wax. But how does that work exactly? Do they already have to have it set up? Does the finance company pay the roofer directly? How does that?
Yeah, so Freedom will pay the roofing company. They're not gonna just get like they will, let's say your house needed a new roof, but you wanted to work with your roofer that you knew personally. So what we would do is we'll on Freedom Forever, we'll vet them out. They'll make sure that they have a business license and that they're legit. And then that roofing company will then get onboarded with Freedom Forever. It takes like 1 day. And then at that point, when it comes time to do the roof before your installation, they will pay the roofing company to come do the roof for you. And then after the roof is done, then Freedom will come around and install the panels.
Okay, so what you would put into the portal there in terms of a dollar amount for a roof, you wouldn't necessarily know that yet, unless they said, "Hey, I've got to get my roof done. I'm getting the process of getting it, inspected." If they know they're going to need it before the panels, do you just put in an arbitrary number? Do you leave it?
Yeah, you could put in, I mean, like there's a ballpark number, but I mean, like there's like, I mean, you could always put in just like $15,000, Mr. Homeowner. It could be a little bit more, it could be less. Have you gotten a quote yet? Do you have an idea? Do you want to wait? Do you want us to get quotes and then maybe do a price change, a change order? And but yeah,
You can add it later.
Yeah, and you can just change it later.
Okay.
If and then let's say that you move forward without a roof, and then Freedom got up there during the site audit and was like, "Hey man, David, like you need a new roof, man." All that would happen is it would just be a finance change order where everything stays the same, but we add in 10 grand, you sign new loan documents because now we had to add in 10 grand for the project for a roof.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, great question. And it's and not to get too far into it, but the way that these are not solar loans, these are home efficiency loans. So technically somebody could build in, I mean, you could build in an extra $3,000 and you could give someone insulation, LED light bulbs, a new thermostat and all this, or you could build in $1,000. I've given someone a TV before. It's like there's several different things you could do with it, but I'm here to sell solar, not thermostats. So I just keep it simple. But sometimes if I make an $8,000 commission, I'm gonna bless them with a bottle of wine, a thermostat, and some light bulbs for the home to just help fix the fuel efficiency of the home, so to speak, the energy efficiency. And so it's just little gifts and caveats to make friends and make relationships. But with that being said, any other questions, y'all?
I guess I have a couple, but I can ask them at another time.
Oh,
I guess they're really quick. So if we quote a client for like 10 kilowatts and they want to add more, can they? More than they need?
Yep. And so great question. So I will run back to Frank Thomas, that lead that we were at today. So we'll go back to his proposal. And quite often some basic psychology. Let's see, view project.
And then my other quick question, I can charge more than $3 per kilowatt, right?
Oh yeah, you could do $4 if you wanted, and then you could turn that one commission into a $12,000 commission instead of a $5,000 commission.
Okay.
And it's honestly not that big of a price difference for the homeowner on the monthly. But let me go back to, I mean, it is a little bit, but I mean, quite often people will, if you wanted to match it to where it was now, you could definitely do that. And I think that's just the art of being a salesperson. I mean, Nike grabs their shoes for $5 and then marks it up 2,000% and sells them for $130. And so price is not the issue with that. So do to each their own, do what you got to do. There's no problem with that. But let's see. If you price it obviously too high, maybe the customer gets another quote and they're like, what? This other company's $23,000 cheaper. What's the difference? And then
Just remember on the other screen that you showed, you had it at like 325 or 375 or something like that.
yeah, totally. Yeah. And 325 is an absolutely, I normally start at 3.5. But
Yeah.
I made a joke because it was a church. I moved it down to 3. So, but let's say, so in this project, Serenity, this person, like in just this specific project, all they needed was 12 panels, technically probably like 10. But if somebody said, yeah, thanks, Serenity, but like, you only showed me 12 panels. I know that's more than I need, but is there any way I could get like 2 more panels? Yeah, click this, and then let's say
Like
that,
instead of a battery, if somebody's interested in batteries, I could suggest maybe just some extra panels so they have more reserve of energy.
yeah.
Do they overproduce?
Yeah, yep, that's definitely a thing, but it's the batteries are only good for if the power goes out, really. And so the panels will, just so everyone, just to make it clear, for everyone in the United States that has solar panels, when the power goes out, they're out of power too, even if you have solar panels. And the way that works is it's for grid safety. Technically, you could wire it to run your house, but it has to go
I
down.
thought it was outage protection. I thought it had like outage protection.
There's with a certain type of inverter, we can do that. But the way that it works is it's designed that way because let's pretend that you worked for the utility company and you had to be the girl that gets up in the bucket and those trucks and go work on the power lines. And then David rigged up his system the wrong way. He rigged it up illegally. So now that solar system is producing power and Serenity is up in the bucket working on the power lines and she gets electrocuted because it wasn't automatically shut off for grid safety. And so it's designed that way. It has to be that way legally.
So then in the case that there was like an emergency, like total doomsday, how is their solar still gonna be able to power their homes?
So with the in that adder section, there was something called an IQ8 inverter. You
Okay.
can add that in. It's literally it barely changes the price. But if this is this brand new technology that came out in 2022, and it's actually gives the ability for homes to produce their own power, even without a battery. But only when the sun is out. And so, but again, if someone's a doomsday prepper, get a battery. Who cares about the damn price? You can get 3 batteries for probably $150 a month and like just get it. Who cares about the price? Just pay for it now so that you can sleep good at night. Or get 1 battery for $50 a month.
The IQ8 inverter allows you to use your solar even if the grid is down.
Yep.
Are those micro inverters too, or is it just one inverter?
Yeah, they're micro inverters. Enphase produces micro inverters where every panel has their own inverter. And we'll do some continuous education on that side. But yeah, there's definitely a few solar hacks, but 99% of my clients don't get the backup power. They don't buy batteries. They're just literally buying a more affordable solution. So we'll keep that as it is, but any other questions? Y'all ask phenomenal questions, by the way. But it's this is a journey. Don't get geeked out or overwhelmed with the technology side or with this, how does solar work. It's when I was like the best waiter or waitress when I was in the service industry years ago, I didn't know shit about the menu. I just knew how to make a friend, get them their little drinks. And like I knew a few of the dishes, and like I always tried to get the menu right, but I never knew the specials. I wasn't the most articulate one. I just knew how to make a friend and talk to people, and people would come back and visit me. So it's not always about being the smartest person in the room. It's about who can connect and who can put in the work and just go meet other humans and maybe see if you can help them. It's not about being an engineer and knowing how all the inverters and trenching and D rates and main amp and volts and amps and watts. That's not what it's about. And or even geeking out about the technology. It's about, hey, Danny, I'm sitting with this homeowner and he's like, I'm pretty sure he wants to go solar. He has a few questions. Can you answer them? And then I can take it from there. Just for your first few sales. Or if you want to do it all yourself, feel free to do that. But it's just don't get caught up on the silly things of it's nice to know them because it can give you a sense of legitimacy and confidence. But yeah, there's a lot of pride and just knowing that to keep like Zig Ziglar says, keep the main thing, which is talking to people, getting a copy of their bill and just setting up an appointment. So other than that, ciao for now. I've got a few meetings to get to this afternoon. And so God bless you guys. And I will post this recording here in about an hour, less than that, probably. Adios, y'all.
Bye.
See you guys.